What's going on, y'all? I'm back with another video, another review. This is Real Housewives of Atlanta, Season 7, Episode 4, Bury the Ratchet. Wow. This episode, it was giving us drama, but it wasn't, of course, it's not the ultimate climax of what we were expecting to get or what we expect to get, during the course of this season, but it did give us a good amount of drama and a whole bunch of meetups. So it gives us what we want. It gave us enough to tune in and do a review. So let's get into the review of Real Housewives of Atlanta, Season 7, Episode 4, Bury the Ratchet. We first start off the first scene with Candy and Todd. They meet up. They're meeting up at their Candy's factory, and they're talking about. Todd brings up and gives Candy input about her business, about how certain things are being brought up, like the classes to teach music and teach how to write music so they can be able to bring in money and pay, have not been done since the wedding, and other things that has been ventured in that has not been done has been put to the wayside because the cast is just not the cast, excuse me, the workers are just in La La Land and they're slacking, versus what we know the Candy Factory workers can do, including Don Juan. So they're talking with that situation, and he's giving input about what needs to be done, what should be done, so you can take it to the next level. Of course, this is another year. You can't be still sitting in the same seat and still sitting at the same level that you were last year or a couple of months ago. So I agree with Todd on that situation. I have a question, and for you to leave down in the comments. Do you think that it was Todd's place to give Candy input on what she should do with her business? Because I don't know if they're business partners. I know they're business partners because of they have been business partners because of his mother's love, but I don't know if he's ventured into business because of marriage with the Candy Factory and the payments and all that situation. Do you think that Todd's advice is correct, and was it vital, and did he needed to give Candy that advice? Moving on to scene 2. We have Claudia. This is basically another intro of Claudia. She gives her lecture about family issues and men issues, but this thing is basically her waking up early in the morning saying, "I'm not a morning person. I'm used to partying in New York and sleeping all night and sleeping all day, but I have to get up in the morning." And she's doing the Ricky Smiley show, and she passes Portia this, that, and the whole third, and says Portia's not speaking to her, which brings into next scene. Portia basically Portia walks in and give her input, basically saying her confession, how me and Claudia are real cool, but our adventures are different. My check says one thing and her check says another, this, that, and the third. I think it was very unnecessary, but hey, it's Portia. We loving the new Portia. It's what we're expecting. So we get that scene, and basically Claudia walks in after her hour segment with Ricky Smiley and Ricky Smiley's morning show. So we get Portia and she's getting all glammed up. She's getting makeup, hair done, and this and that, and to get ready to do her segment because she actually getting paid to do Dish Nation with Ricky Smiley morning show, etc. And so Claudia walks in. She's basically talking to Portia, and Portia's like paying her dust. She's not really paying. So she's answering Claudia's questions. She's honoring her let's say she's honoring her appearance, but she's really not into like, hey girl, how you doing? This, that, and the third. She's focused on her makeup. She's focusing on getting glad. She's focusing on what she has to do. And Claudia feels some type of way because she says she used a passion Portia, and Portia's saying, hey, this and that. And now as time progresses, she's not giving what she's been given in the beginning of the process. So I was like, okay, petty. You're not friends with her. You're building a friendship. Don't force it. It's not there right now. So it's kind of like, take what you can get right now and fill her out and see if that's somebody you want to be friends with. If not, leave the situation alone. Stick with Kenya, stick with Cynthia, because y'all work good together anyway. No tea, no shade. But now, after that segment, we go back into the Candy Factory where Candy calls a team meeting about what her and Todd talked about, and basically Candy feels some type of way, but of course she's gonna throw. It's almost like she throws Todd under the bus, but it's like, okay, we're gonna have this meeting about things I've been talking about bringing up that has not been done. This thing has been put on the wayside. Things have been not been being executed like they're supposed to be executing. Todd gives his opinion on the meeting. Now, with my personal opinion on this situation, what Candy and Todd talked about should have been brought to the meeting, but I don't think Todd should have been in the meeting because he's not signing checks. He's right now he's there as her husband, as her supporter, but not there in as a business partner, as a person who signs the check. I'm only saying that because he has every right to be there, but as a business-minded person, um, because he's not there signing the check, and because he's not, I guess, not on the business or whatever that is, I don't think that it was vital enough for him to actually be there. Just have Candy to take what he wanted to execute to the members, and get that point across and get it going. But of course, because everybody feels some type of way because that is Candy's husband, so they feel that this is Candy's business. She's the one signing my check. Don won. Nobody else felt that way but Don won. I think he was being very petty because it wasn't that serious of a situation. I think that what Todd was talking about, what Candy was bringing to the table, was absolutely correct. But of course, a person like him, he's the type of person who wants to take all the credit, but he doesn't know how to separate friendship from business. Because if he would know how to separate friendship from business, the feeling that he was bringing and the attitude that he was bringing and giving was very unacceptable and very unbusinesslike. And in my opinion, if you bring that to a real business site instead of a show business site where friendship is built and friendship overboards everything, then he would have been fired. And in my book, if he just came at me that way, whether we friends or not, he would have been fired or been placed somewhere. Because at the end of the day, this is no place where feelings are supposed to be involved. I want to know your feelings on that situation. Do you feel Don Juan was going overboard? Do you feel he's paid, or do you feel that he was right? I do honor his request because his request was correct, but the way he executed and the way he came was very almost like some disrespectful, but not disrespectful because that's expected because that's Don Juan and Candy. Let me know how you feel in the comments. We get Cynthia, Kenya, and Claudia meet up at a shoe store in Atlanta, and they basically, let me say, they meet up and somehow they talk about Claudia talking about how ugly her feet is, and talking about this and that, and talking about somehow, of course, if you have these three ladies meeting up and they're not on the other team with Mimi, Phaedra, Candy, and Portia, of course they're gonna find some type of way of getting on the board of talking against and talking about and throwing shade at the other women. So of course, who starts it off? Cynthia. So she talks about, she mentions to Kenya. I don't know if I told you about the meeting I had with Portia, but some things didn't go very right. Okay, my whole persona of how she brought up the situation was, okay, some things didn't go very right. Your intentions were to go in and be very disrespectful and throw shade at Portia. That's the whole reason why you spent an hour sitting at their seat, which I don't think it was an hour, because any true person will know I am not sitting in one spot waiting for an hour, and I bet you it wasn't a whole hour. You just taking the point that Portia said we're gonna meet up at this time, and that's how you took. Because I doubt it if you showed up at the time that Portia stated that the meeting was going to go on. You probably showed up 15 minutes after and seen that Portia wasn't there. So hey, let me sit down. She said we're gonna start the meeting at this time. She's still not here. I'm here, so we're just gonna say I stay here an hour. Please, I don't think so. I really don't think so. But anyway, let's get off that subject. She brings up the Portia about this and that, and you would think that the attitude she gave Portia, she was bringing that same boss chick attitude to display how she meeting with her and Cynthia. But of course, it's Cynthia she's put on this place. The whole persona is very unrealistic and it's a lie. But anyway, so they talk about that, and Claudia displays her dislike and what she didn't like about how Kenya's treating her, which was very petty, which and then of course Kenya had her little squall with Portia and this and that and the other third. But and then Kenya gets to her confessionals and say, no, let me go back. And then Claudia says that she explains her dislike with Kenya, how she's nice one day and now she's getting the cold shoulder the other day and this and that and the third. And she's like, well, do you think, Claudia displays the question, do you think that I like that. And Portia displays, not Portia, Claudia displays the question of, do you think this something that we should sit down and talk about. And surprisingly, Kenya agreed and said, yes, that is something you should definitely sit down and talk about. I'm definitely all for that to build a friendship and see where things go. But then she gets in her confessions and throw the ultimate shade to my. Yeah, I do agree with Claudia that you should sit down and see what goes down and this and that and the other. But when in this situation, when you have two grown women, one with the brain and one without the brain, I don't see how that happens. Now, we were on board with you surprisingly agreeing to sit down and hash out whatever differences there is. But you're going to get in your confessions and throw shade. If you want people to like you, Kenya, stay, stay authentic. Stay, basically, stay true to your walk. If you're going to be a B-I-C-C-H, then be that. If you're going to be a kind person, then be that. If you're going to be a respectable black person, then black woman, then be that. Don't be shady this day, rude this day, victim the other day, and Kenya the model the other one day. It's like, okay, choose one, stick with it, and allow us to form our opinion. If we like it, then we like it. If we don't, then we don't. It's Kenya. We can always say that Kenya is real, but we can't say that when you're this one day, this day, play victim, this day, crime. Anyway, goes on. We get the meet up with Phaedra, Candy, and Portia. They're at the spa. This spa is dedicated to Phaedra because of everything she's going through with the kids. Basically getting in the incarceration of Apollo and all his shenanigans. So they decided to get together and give Phaedra something authentic and something that she can relax and let her troubles go and and then chop it up. Of course, it's reality shows, Real Housewives of Atlanta, so they're not just gonna have a free spa day without being shady and gossiping and talking about the other women or what's going on in the latest news within Atlanta. So let's get into it. They all meet up at the spot, and then Portia brings up the situation, sit down with Cynthia, because I think Candy brought it up. Remind you, Candy is being very messy in this episode. Very messy. She's bringing up situation that didn't need to be brought up at a certain time. She's talking about this. We don't get into emotion anyway. It's Candy. So basically, really, this whole not this whole season, but ever since Candy came on here, she's been low key messy, very low key messy. But nobody never calls her out. But I'm gonna call Candy Birds out. You have been very messy. But anyway, I love you, Candy. But anyway, they meet up. And Portia brings up the situation with her and Cynthia. She's like, "Oh, what happened with Candy?" Brings up, "Oh, what happened with you and Cynthia?" Of course, Portia's gonna do whole yes, honey, and yes, and of course, when I walked in the door, Cynthia was trying to hide her expressions with both ties. They was like, "Yes, honey, yes, yes." Me and her confessor, "Yes, Portia, read, honey, yes," giving us LGBTTs and these drag queens see that they give me gays. But anyway, remind me of Tamar Braxton. But anyway, she's talking about how Cynthia was so rude and this and that, and Mimi brings up her situation with Cynthia. Candy's like, "So what's going on with you and Cynthia?" She's like, "Oh, me and Cynthia will never be friends." So I'm not gonna lie, but at first I missed my relationship with Cynthia, but at the end of the day, life goes on. We had what we had, and it's over. I'm not gonna sit here, miss my nights, miss money, or cry over no friendship. So that's basically what it is. Then they bring up the situation. Mimi brings up the situation with Kenya and Apollo line, and she's like, and basically this whole segment with them, Candy was being messy, bringing up the situation and wants to know everybody's opinion, and she got everybody's opinion and brought it back to King. But we're gonna get into that segment later on in this review. So Nick means like, "Oh, child, I already know what you're talking about. This thing over here done told me, and I think that Apollo lied just to get back at Phaedra." So, and Candy gets to her confession like, "What? I never even thought of it like that." So this whole spot turns into a conspiracy theory. Candy, you tried it, but anyway, it's like, let me know your thoughts on that. I never thought about it that way, and it could be like the producer, like, you know what, go ahead, apologize so we can end this segment. Of course, because everybody want to know, was this true? So we were like, okay, producers, we're going to say, Paula, go apologize to say it was on the line, boom, 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 ratings. Or it could be like, okay, That could be it, or it could be like, okay, this was a lie, so I'm gonna clear my conscience before I go judge. I don't want no hard feelings. 2, 3, or it could be what Nene said. It could be like, I'm gonna lie just to get back at Phaedra. Let me know what you think about those in the comments. So then we get into Peter meets up with Apollo. And that whole segment, Apollo says he tried to figure out where he effed up with Phaedra and this whole situation because things are going in and out of time. He's waiting on the paper to be sent to know where he needs to meet up with time because he's going to be incarcerated. He's like, okay, duh, Apollo. Everybody knows where you effed up. You effed up when you thought you needed to live a lifestyle to compare to your wife. So you go out and start doing this and that and the other, and then you get on the show and it's flying around $15,000. I spend $4,000 here at the strip club, this, that, and the third. But when the feds get ready to do their taxes and find out where's all this money come from, because it ain't been filed, then boom, you're not helping the situation. You effed up because it's all on you. You effed up because of you. Nobody put a gun to your head and say, here, steal money. That was the decision that you made, and that's the decision that you have to put up with. But anyway, goes on, and then they're talking, and Peter makes a point, because Apollo basically saying, things are getting close. I haven't been at home. I've been doing this, been doing that. Things are toxic, but then Peter steps aside and not be Patricia and goes back to being the advice good friend Peter, and he goes on to say that if I was in your position with everything being you going away for so long, I would be spending 18 hours back to back with my children, being by their side, being at home, trying to talk to my wife and doing this and that because you're going to be gone for so long. And I agree with Peter. That's what you need to be doing instead of running away. Step up and try to make this thing work with your wife. That's just my opinion. And Apollo then also explains, goes on when him and Phaedra first met, that when he got out, when he was living in the project and sleeping on an air mattress on the floor, Phaedra would come by constantly. Hey, boo, I want to spend time with you. Hey, this, that, how you doing? Come spend time with me, let me in, this and that. So that basically saying that Phaedra was down with you. Phaedra had your back. Phaedra loved you. And this, that, and the other. So she was down with you with life, but down with you for life. So it shows to tell you that, hey, you had a loyal wife, but at the end of the day, you messed that up. So it's up to you to fix it. Because she showed you in the beginning what she is all about. Now you need to show her that you have changed, that you have progress, that you actually want this marriage to work. But at the end of the day, it all falls back on you. You can't expect her to be open arms when you're making a mistake that makes her, her children, and the family legacy look bad. Now you're gonna miss months and months and months at a time, and not be in your children's life over a decision that you made. Think that's just something to think about. Please let me know your thoughts about that in the comments about how their relationship started and where it's at now. What do you think happened? Do you think it's more than what he did within the money laundering and the bank fraud, or do you think it's something deeper? I want to know your thoughts and comments on that. Please leave that in the comments. So we get Portia meets up with Claudia at some restaurant, and Claudia, but they small talk about the dish situation, how they met, and how they got the jobs and stuff on dish and this, that, and other. And then Claudia drops the bun. So let me get straight to the point. I feel that when we first met, I used to see in the hallway after our seconds, and we used to hug. And as time progressed, you kind of throw me a cold shoulder. And I was trying to wonder, was it because of me and Kenya being friends, this, that, and other. And basically, Claudia also tried to get her to sit down and talk to Kenya. Yes, Kenya, but the whole time Portia is like, you know what? I'm not the type of person. It's not to be rude or anything, but when I'm focused, I'm focused. I'm not worried about what you have to go on this, that, and other. And no, I'm not going to sit down with Kenya because that has nothing to do with you. That's me and Kenya, not me, you, and Kenya. So you're a whole person. With you and Kenya got going on is what I got going on. But with me and Kenya, it's between me and Kenya. So basically, Portia shuts her down and interrupts the conversation and asks for the lemons and stuff before the waitress, and then did, do the lotion, this and the other. Of course, Claudia knew she was shutting her down, but at the end of the day, Claudia, you're doing too much. Don't force a friendship if it's not meant to be. Let it form on its own. And what her and Kenya got going on has nothing to do with you. Let that alone. Stay in your place. You be a friend to Kenya and try to be a friend to Portia, but do not try to cross those lines. Because that has nothing to do with you. You're a new girl on the block. Form friendship, form a relationship, and be done. That's my opinion to you. Then we get this segment with Don Juan meeting up with Candy because he had some issues to address. He did not like how the meeting was executed with Todd giving his opinion on how Candy stated what needs to be done. Of course, Don Juan being in his feelings, there was going to be a meeting. So we get the meeting with Candy and Don Juan. And Don Juan comes into meeting to discuss what happened in the previous meeting with the group. He did not like, basically didn't like the whole persona of what was said in the meeting. He did not like the fact that Todd had an opinion and had something to say because, of course, with Don Juan personality, he knows Candy. He knows he's been with Candy. He's been down with Candy. So when anybody else come in perspective and he thinks that their friendship, not saying that their friendship would end, but he thinks it's like, you can't tell me about Candy, you can't tell me about what I do if you're not signing my check, this, that, and the other third. So he's having a little, really a little pity party because he didn't like what was said, and if you didn't like what was said, it's called constructive criticism. And just with that being said, which he did say he did not have a problem with it, but he didn't like it coming from Todd, which is my point is very petty to me because if somebody's giving you not say constructive criticism, but somehow you better on your work and you know you're slacking, then my point is get it done. I mean, you're working for Candy Burris, and she is talented. And of course, he was involved in a lot of things that Candy got done, and she did state that without Don Juan, she don't know who else to depend on, which Don Juan is the ish. But I mean, the way Don Juan came at Candy, and then in the next segment he comes at Todd, is like, get it together because at the end of the day, no matter how much credit or how much stamina you have behind your name in the industry or in the business, somebody's always ready to take your spot, and you can be replaced. So let's get into after he meets with Candy and express that Candy, of course, pillow talks to Todd and let him know that Don Juan was feeling some type of way about what was said in the meeting. So Don Juan meets up with Todd and he walks in Todd's office and basically expressed himself. Basically, he told Candy, he came to Don Juan and they was going back and forth, and Don Juan was being very extra. He was giving me Diva 1-on-1 with the face expression like, "What you saying, Todd?" I'm like, okay. I mean, okay, if this is professional, this is a business. Like, if you walk through my office with that type of attitude and persona you had weighed upon you, you would have been fired because I don't care how much you have done, you will be, fired. Like I said, and before, like, if this was a real professional business, which it is, but it is not because this is a reality TV. So reality and attitude cut the line between business. So when you get that, if I was to walk in Walmart and go to my manager or my boss and act the way Don Juan acted, and with having the credit that Don Juan has behind his name, they would have kicked me out and I would have been fired. I would have got my last check and I would have been replaced, no matter how much I've done, no matter how many years I've worked there. So, like I said, that was very unprofessional. It's very petty on Don Juan's part. But at the end, you can see how he kind of calmed down because I guess he kind of felt the way that Todd was not going to back down and Todd was not playing with him. So he had to humble himself and let go of that attitude and understand that just because it's coming from Todd, it's not coming from an evil place. Because everybody, just like he was giving me my majority, because every time Todd has something to say, he's like, oh, he's an opportunist or he's this and he's that. Because because I get the tease that he is married. He's helping his wife expand her business. If it wasn't, what other man's gonna help his wife do that if he's the opportunity? He'd be trying to get that money. He wouldn't be trying to help. He would try to set her down, get their money and scat and leave. I don't get that from Todd. I don't care what nobody say. I don't get it from Todd. And it is what it is. So I want to know what you thought about that Todd versus Don Juan. Who won the situation? Who was right? Who was wrong? Who was doing extra? And who was petty within that situation? But they got to an understanding which was good, and they got to an ending where it was very professional. But again, it was very pettish, and Don Juan was pretty much giving me a lot of queen teeth. He was giving me deeper one-on-one without the hustle. But then we get to this last segment. Candy meets up with Kenya Moore at the kickboxing class. This and that. All it was Candy apologized, which I think she should have left it at that. She apologized, but she also brought up with what Portia, Phaedra, and Nene had to say about the whole situation, which brought Kenya to tears, which she was doing too much. Because at the end of the day, she talked about, well, I've been cleared. He told the truth about lying. My name is clear. They're supposed to give me a new clean start. No, it don't work like that, because at the end of the day, you played into it. You brought this text. I'm not even going to get back into it because I already said this before in the previous review. Candy, you started this Textgate stuff. Stop texting me, then this and that. Y'all had to go back and forth. That was your storyline for 2 years, and now you're trying to redeem yourself. It's not going to be as easy as you think it's going to be. Just because he lied and say he lied, don't mean people are going to just say, "Oh, well, Kenya's just the angel." No, boo. Because when you first saw, from the time you first came on, your agenda was to start mess, not to build a friendship. So, with that being said, you want to have to change a lot of stuff, and you have to, at the end of the day, kind of take what is given, because you have given a lot. Because I remember in previous season where you have, even with the new girls coming in and kind of like trying out, because when 2 women came in with the little hotel pillow talk stuff, you were into it with that girl, you was into it with the other girl, being very, very messy, trying to get screen time. So at the end of the day, people are not going to have too much pity for you. So you have to really start over. And like I said, impressions are everything, and you gave off the wrong impression. And then the Kickskate thing went too far because you was beefing with them because of this booty video, this workout booty video. And when that didn't go right, then you got mad because they was not working with you and they worked with somebody else, and their ratings was better than yours. And now you got this Kickskate thing going on, which happened, which has been the storyline for 2 years. And now you're mad because the women are not flocking to you. People are not flocking to you. The real reason why people are not flocking to you because your personality stinks. Not saying that everybody else on the show is perfect, because everybody is either low-key messy or just ridiculous in some sort. Not saying that, because not saying everybody is perfect, but at the end of the day, you came on this show with an agenda, and now you're trying to do a clean slate, which is good, but at the end of the day, it's not going to be as easy as you want it to be or as you think it to be. So let me know what your thoughts. Please click the thumbs up button. Please like, comment, and subscribe, and share on all social media accounts. And this has been your review for Real Housewives of Atlanta, Season 7, Episode 4, Bury the Ratchet. Peace.